you die does not redeem how you lived. You do not become a hero in your death when you are a weapon of the enemy in your life.
Well, negotiations, right? Politics. And we're out of time, so you...
Hey, y'all, Gravity, any day above ground, live it. I hope you're having a fantastic start to your Friday. It's finally the weekend. Damn, this week went by quick, but we're here. So, as I iggyed last night, I was looking up something about affirmative action, and we're going to put that on hold till tomorrow, because I'm still researching something, but we're not going to iggy what I'm going to show you. Today, we're going to look at something that stumbled into my newsroom, and I got to tell you, conservative women, let me holler at y'all this morning. I especially want to talk to y'all. I don't care what race, sex, creed you are. You have got to understand that the right, the menses, they don't like you. They never liked you. You guys were just tools. We're going to say something this morning on this beautiful Friday that the Lord has blessed us with. Shout out to the Most High. Conservative women, you have an opportunity right now to become the power brokers in the sector of the right. Even though you all are going to lose significant power on November 3rd, 2026, and there has to be a realignment, you guys can be the power brokers of the right. And there's two things you have to do. Number one, you have to exorcise Asian men out of the right. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to say it again, and I don't care if it sounds racist, because most of y'all don't even know what the term racist means. You guys need to exorcise Asian men away from the right, because they are sending out a conflicted message. That dude that looks like a thumb that got fired yesterday or whatever day it was, and him sitting there stealing Chandler Crumb's griff, he hates you and he has a significant platform. You need to get rid of him. Number two, you may not know this because, again, your menses over there think you guys are dumb. But you guys are going to be along with black people and independents, you guys are going to determine the midterms. And if you want significant power, you better start researching these people that are coming for those seats in more ways than one. No pause. Black people, independents, and women are going to determine the fate of the country for the next 2 years. And if you want to show the men that you need to be taken seriously, your decisions next November are going to go a long way, because they don't like you. But that's not what we're going to talk about today. Today we're going to laugh at y'all, because it doesn't pay to be a conservative woman today. It does not. Y'all have been taking L after L after L. And today we're going to talk about 2 L's, one domestic L and one international L. You see who's on the screen. If you saw the thumbnail, you're like, okay, we know one, we don't know the other. We're going to start with the other, because she is an other. This is a kangaroo kicker. That's right. This is an Australian. I know y'all don't care about what's going on down there. Everything is reversed. But this old kangaroo kicker by the name of Freya Leach. She 22 years old. I know. She's 22. She looked like if Jessica Spano from Saved by the Bell grew up in Australia and ate nothing but koala burgers. I know. She fancied herself one of those extreme right people. She's another one of them Charlie Kirks who were watched while they were young. People saw the riots and figured they were going to get some money off of her. She was writing number blogs. She was getting featured on Sky News down there. We all know Sky News is racist. They even gave her her own show, Freya Fires Up. She was supposed to go in and bring in firebrands and have those conversations that people do not want to have. And it was successful. But you're wondering why I said was. Well, guess what she did? She platformed 2 people. One of them you know, one of them you don't know. And one of them decided to say something out of pocket that they did not like. And it caused her to lose her show. But in typical white supremacist fashion, they did not exorcise her from the company completely. So we're going to look at what happened, who caused it, and we're going to laugh because they don't fucking get it. The world is changing. If you're going to be racist, either be unapologetic about it or at least be funny. And don't fuck up your grift trying to be racist. Now we back up. You're correct, Christopher. Everything we find is racist. I think since you have an O and an apostrophe, I think all you do all day is drink beer and threaten British people. I think that. I wonder why Scotland Yard always got to see one of your people. I'm just saying. But anyway, let's begin. But today we're gonna do it a little differently. We're gonna bring something out of StreamYard real fast. We're gonna bring this here.
Apologizes unreservedly for the deeply offensive comments made by a guest last night during a live broadcast of my program, Freya Fires Up. These remarks were wholly inappropriate and unacceptable and have no place on our network.
Hello?
She needed a koala burger at that point. They say if you go down to Australia, you got to go through the drive-thru at the koala burger. You get one of those, you get a leaf shake. I ain't sure about the fries. They say the fries come from England. And you know they love their English fries. I'm just saying.
Welcome to Media Watch. I'm Linton Besser. And we open tonight with
Linton.
an abject apology from a darling of the Conservative press, whose live television show has today been abandoned, just 6 episodes in, after being promoted like this.
Are you fired up and ready?
Freya Leach is bringing the heat to Sky News Australia.
Freya Leach was still at university when her outspoken Conservative opinions began making news. Then she was pre-selected by the Liberal Party and ran unsuccessfully for an inner Sydney seat.
What did I tell you at the beginning? They caught them when they were young and tried to prop them up.
All being propelled to minor celebrity.
No, I said fries, Anthony Ruger Phillips. I was very direct with what I said. I said fries because English people love to try to be American. How many videos have you been here for where we have shown this?
By Sky News.
By the way, he looks like a vampire. I'm just saying. Is this Lestat? I'm just saying.
Regular TV spots. And on August 17, the network sat her behind her own desk, hosting a live national television program at just 22 years of age, promising viewers she would deliver no less than hand-to-hand combat.
This is where you'll get heated debates from all sides. And when I say heated, I mean confrontational, controversial, robust, serious, the whole lot. And that's
whole lot.
just the start of it.
But last week, the only...
Did you see that bop she did? I tell you. Woo. Did you see the bop?
Just the start of it.
But last week...
You saw that bop? By the way, remember how they said she was a failed politician? She lost. She married a politician. You gotta love it.
And that's just the start of it.
But last week, the only thing on fire was the reputation of the show, its host, and even the network.
Network.
Guest responsible should never have appeared. We have begun an immediate review of our guest booking and vetting procedures to prevent this type of incident from occurring again.
So, who was this guest responsible for Sky News spiralling into DEFCON 1 damage control?
Let's ask the question. Now, what do you think his gimmick is? We'll put it back. What do you think his gimmick is? If you know him, you better not say nothing. But what do you think his grift is? We'll give you an opportunity to figure it out. And good morning to the room. How y'all doing today? I always forget to ask that. Well, I tell you, boy, you conservatives are going down bad. I need the fiscal conservatives and the real conservatives to kick you lefty assholes out of it. Like real talk. I'd rather deal with fiscal conservatives and real conservatives. These liberal conservatives, these blue conservatives, I don't like them. I think they're retarded. And the fact that y'all let them in there and the message is not cohesive, that's crazy to me. And you just letting anybody in. You might say he's a cuckold. I ain't sure, but no, that ain't the gimmick. Cosmo said he's not red pill. No, that's not the gimmick. There's a gimmick. And the gimmick is hilarious. Y'all ain't gonna get it. We'll just let you go. Now, when we figure out the gimmick and I show you the gimmick, y'all gonna laugh your ass off. You ready? Anti-Semitic? He don't talk about Jewish people. At least I don't think so. But here's the gimmick.
His name is Ryan Williams, though he likes to be called the Scottish Korean.
And there it is. Drew McIntyre got a Korean cousin. One more time if you didn't hear it.
His name is Ryan Williams, though he likes to be called the Scottish Korean.
The Scottish Korean. The haggis with the gochujang be hitting differently over there in the UK now, don't it? That's right, I said it. The haggis with the gochujang. It be hitting different. That Korean fried chicken with a pint, unmatched eating. I'm just saying.
And together with another guest, he appeared to have won his place on the show because, well, he's popular online.
Joining me now are two social media sensations, Ryan Williams, also known as the Scottish...
Now, who knows who this tough head, hammerhead from Spider-Man looking ass is? Let me see if somebody knows who this is. We have mentioned him before here. Let's see if somebody gonna pick it up. No, I didn't say Tombstone. I said Hammerhead. Tombstone's one of ours. Cosmo Fury said Rugman, a.k.a. Joey Matarino. You're wrong. This is Cosmo Fury is not paying attention. We might have to send him back to class. That is not Joey Matarino. That is Laverne Spicer. Come on now. Laverne Spicer has made it. She made it down under. Do you understand? Make sure you share this out and hit the like. Laverne Spicer has made it. All that drinking she was doing, all the dirty walls that she be doing videos on, all the cussing. She finally made it to Australia. Where the kangaroos are plentiful. And the immigration is just as bad as it is in England.
Korean online and conservative political strategist and commentator
Laverne Spicer.
And no, you don't need new glasses. Ryan Williams, who was beaming in from Perth, had indeed used sellotape.
Sellotape? For what?
To stick rashes of bacon to his shirt.
He stuck slices of bacon to his shirt. Because he thought he was funny. Why did he do that? Let's find out.
But no bother, as Freya plunged in to ask, of course, about Charlie Kirk's death.
What's your reaction been to the assassination, the fallout we've seen, and just the levels of hate that have been directed towards Charlie since his murder?
Now, ready yourself for Mr. William.
Now, she asked him about Charlie Kirk and what happened with them and what you've seen regarding the fallout. Simple question. Simple question. Let's see what the Scottish Korean said.
Williams' answer, which was nothing short of an ambush. And a warning is appropriate because with apologies, we're going to play the worst of it. And it really is repugnant.
The reason I've got bacon on my shoulders is because the terrorists are a charming lot and they threaten to behead me every single day. So a little bit of protection. And I just have a very...
I didn't know bacon was supposed to stop, I'm guessing, lefties from attacking you. I'm pretty sure lefties love bacon. They be going to restaurants ordering lardons, wedge salads. They getting bacon, egg, and cheeses at they're not bodegas anymore. The delis, the upscale delis in New York. They be eating bacon ice cream. I'm just saying. I didn't know lefties didn't like bacon because, of course, he's on the right. But, let me see.
Clear, simple message to Muslims, which is stop worshipping a pedo warlord who's the Bonnie Blue of the 7th century, sleeping with 30 Al Zoot men, who married a six-year-old and slept with a 9-year-old. And there's only one culture that pours acid on women's faces. There's only one culture that makes women cover their faces so other men don't rape them.
Yeah.
So he wore the bacon so Muslims don't beat him up or try to dislodge his head from his body. You see why I said women conservative women, y'all gotta exorcise, excuse me, Asian men out of the right. I'm just saying. We'll continue.
Live and beamed into lounge rooms around the country. To her credit, I suppose, Freya did at least attempt some amelioration.
I think it's important to preface that by saying that the most...
Why is Joey in a hotel room? What is going on? Why are they always in hotel rooms? So you get called in for a remote interview and you have to go rent a hotel room? What? This will never... until I figure out the answer, this is always going to bother me.
The majority of Muslims don't support that.
But also deemed it necessary to add her own little contribution to Mr. Williams' soliloquy.
Here in Australia, at least, we've got some great moderate Muslims, but I think it's up to them to condemn the elements of the culture or the religion that are more extreme.
Freya turned next to her other guest, and Ryan Williams never reappeared. Instead...
And we know how Australia likes Pacific Islanders. They couldn't even tolerate you doing that? Huh.
A few minutes later, Freya turned to the camera with this.
Look, I've just been told we do have to apologise for what was just aired, those comments earlier, but we're going to continue now with our interview with Joey.
And she was still smiling when she did the apology, so she really liked what he said, but she was trying to babyface it. You got it. All right.
Continue on, she did. More on that later. The following night, however, Freya Leach broadcast her second and much more grovelling mea culpa before Sky News announced an internal review and that Freya Fires Up would henceforth be somewhat cooled down, no longer live, but pre-recorded.
I grant y'all permission to put laughing emojis in the chat for that. Oh, man. You had a live show that they knew would get significant ratings on a day where I'm sure you could not, I repeat, could not get ratings because it's Sunday, it's football, it's cricket. People are going out enjoying the sights of Australia. You had a beautiful grift. You had a corporately funded grift. They were willing to pay you hundreds of thousands of Australian dollars to do this show. And you let this mofo mess up the bag.
Were there any clues that Ryan Williams was about to embark on a racist tirade against Muslims? Apart from dressing in deli meats. Funnily enough, yes, there were, well, a few. And I'm sorry, but another warning that there's more of that vile rhetoric ahead. The day before his star turn in sharing news of Sky's invitation, Ryan Williams told his followers,
There is only one culture that pours acid on women's faces.
and it was a theme he returned to again and again.
Stop worshipping a Peter warlord. There's only one culture that needs to cover up women so men don't rape them. There's only one culture that promotes inbreeding.
For a good 4 weeks before his invitation onto Freya's program, Ryan Williams was publishing almost nothing but this same ugly diatribe.
Why do I feel like he's trying to audition for Amadeus Cho in the MCU? And for those who don't know who that is the Astonishing Hulk. And he's basically a terrible Hulk, but you know. Huh.
It was, frankly, impossible to miss. But save some of your despair because we haven't yet discussed Freya's other guest that night, Joey Manorino.
Wrong. That's Laverne Spicer. So Joey was in Thailand. Okay. I have questions. One, why were you in Thailand? We know the answer, but we're not going to say it here. 2, why were you in Thailand? We know the answer, but we're not going to say it here. Number 3, Laverne Spicer. Please be careful over there in Thailand because they just started accepting black people over there. Be careful. They don't like it when you drink and start cussing. Number 4, why are you in Thailand? We know the answer, but we're not going to say it here. GDS, we said we're not going to say it, and you went and said it.
Whose pleasantries include the assertion that Kamala Harris filleted her way to the second highest office in America.
You gotta love one thing about Australian TV. You gotta love it. They don't care. They'll just write out the whole thing. If this was us, this would have been. They either wouldn't have shown this or they would have blocked this out. That's crazy. But okay.
And in the aftermath of Charlie Kirk's killing, this little horror as to how society should respond.
If the person who killed Charlie Kirk was a transgender, there can be no mercy for that species any longer. We've already tolerated far too much from those creatures.
So how
Creatures.
exactly did these 2 fine specimens get past security, let alone onto the telly? Because while core business on Sky News evening programs is driving outrage, after a 2018 segment with a neo-Nazi prompted blowback from advertisers, viewers, and even staff, it had reportedly introduced rules that all rundowns be checked off by a more senior manager. And we can tell you tonight, those rules were followed to the letter. Early on the morning of her show, her sole producer, who had only a few months of experience in television, emailed through Freya's list of guests.
Who want to say it before I say it? I'll give you 10 seconds and then I'm going to say it. Ten seconds up. DEI. White people, White people. I hope this illustrates now that this has nothing to do with black people. This is y'all. Y'all are DEI. Did you hear what he said? We're going to play it again.
Senior manager. And we can tell you tonight, those rules were followed to the letter. Early on the morning of her show, her sole producer, who had only a few months of experience in television, emailed through Freya's list.
You put a producer on a project that you overhyped for months. You put that person who had only a few months TV experience in that type of position, and she ends up losing her show in 6 weeks. They only did 6 shows. Y'all went and found them 2 idiots, and then she had to apologize not once but twice, and then she ends up losing her show anyway. Conservative women, how much more proof do you need that they don't like you? You had somebody in America literally advocate for the erasure of homeless people. He's still on the air. But then they were cheering that Matthew Dodd lost his job after what he said about Charlie Kirk. They let this woman take on these 2 guests, and she lost her job over it. Insofar as her losing her TV show. DEI just ruined this woman. And we like it. Give me some more.
List of guests to Sky News' acting head of programs, James Birtles. Later that morning, Birtles circulated the lineup, including the Scottish Korean, to dozens of Sky News staff and copied in as an FYI Chief Executive Paul Whittaker. We also know that the acting head of programs, James Birtles, did indeed take an interest in Freya's show because in the final hours before she went on air, he intervened, ordering a separate, pre-recorded segment be dumped, which meant that Freya and her producer were scrambling to find a way to pad out the time.
Wait a minute, so they were gonna let the Scottish Korean go off even more. What? This just keeps getting better and better. They were going for shock value. Again, fam, what have I told y'all on there? There's a way to be controversial without you becoming a shock jock. You can say things on YouTube that are controversial. They'll let it ride. You just might not get full monetization. If you try to dip your toe into that shock jock realm, they will take your channel. How many times? For you to be controversial, you have to be witty. Black Spider, thank you for the $25 on Cash App. That's a blessing. Thank you. It'll help me reinvest back in the platform and buy some toys and clothes for the baby, especially in this economy that's about to hit a recession. And this is Australia. They like to bend the rules. They like to get a little graphic on their news. Even they couldn't stomach that. Which begs the question, and I'm going to let y'all think about this. Would they have let that ride if that was a white man?
Get to work!
distracted, were clearly paying insufficient attention to their very strange guest over in Perth.
We're going to be actually doing this with bacon. Bacon right there.
Last Thursday, Freya's producer was given a formal letter of warning before just hours later being marched into HR and given the sack. This morning, Sky News Australia told it was given a formal...
Bacon right there.
Last Thursday, Freya's producer was given a formal letter of warning before just hours later being marched into HR and given the sack.
They fired the DEI hire. Well, look at that. That might be a record. But do you think Birtles and Whitaker, you know, the higher ups, do you think they got fired? No. Of course not.
This morning, Sky News Australia told us that while Freya Leach will continue to appear on its network, it was cancelling her show.
We have undertaken a thorough internal review, implemented its recommendations, and taken appropriate action with everyone involved in this incident. A decision has been made to discontinue the program.
By broadcasting a segment so blatantly offensive and distressing, there is a very real prospect Sky may have breached the commercial television industry code of practice. And for both Freya Leach and her producer...
That sounds like court action. Yeah, I didn't get to do it yet, DSA. But sounds like they may have to go in front of the court if there was a violation. So a UK-based Korean who was cosplaying as a Scotsman might have put a major Australian broadcaster in the seat of the High Court down there. Insane. And we like it.
There can be no shying away from their simply unbelievable derelictions. But responsibility for this fiasco must also be shouldered by Sky News' more experienced hands.
Facts.
At least because their star interviewee has clipped up his television outing into social media posts that have reached millions of people. At least 6 million, in fact, for just one of his obscene rants. Journalism on Sky News making a positive impact on the world.
Damn. And he had to take a part of his shot. Get some. All right, so there was that. Now we come to the main event. Tomi Lahren got owned. Badly. Do y'all see the dislikes? 1,000 likes, 3,500 dislikes. Her crowd turned on her. Again, we love it. If you don't remember who this is Krystal Ball. We talked about her a few years ago when it came to affirmative action and Matt Walsh. The years have not been kind to her, but that's not what we're talking about. Shout out to Black Light Revelations. And that is the perfect face for Tomi Lahren. The perfect face. Conservative women, y'all are not doing well in 2025. I'm just saying. Let's get to the show.
I don't know if you're a Mamdani fan or not, but you are a big fan of Mamdani?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. So he wants to provide $65 million for gender-affirming care.
I mean, Tommy, I think everyone should get health care. So, yes, I think trans people should get health care as well.
I hope that you guys stick with that, and I hope that Mamdani is your poster child, and I hope that you run on it. I'm not going to give you any feedback because I, too, hope that that is the direction that you go.
If you refuse policy proposals, you'll see this is not some, like, dyed-in-the-wool ideology dialogue.
Best of luck with the Democrat socialist endeavor in America.
The funny thing is, since they don't want to talk about it, and I see what they're doing, they're putting Democrat or Democratic in front of socialism, even though Republicans want socialism. Y'all don't want to talk to me. Hey, MAGA, why do y'all want socialism? Because if you didn't want socialism, you would have told Mitch McConnell's districts and his state, which happens to be the biggest beneficiaries of welfare in this country, even though y'all want to tell us it's black people, that they need to get off of welfare, pick themselves up by their bootstraps, and go out there and create and go to work. Not live off the state and the federal tax dollars that you're paying into the system. Which includes health care that the Democrats say they're not budging off of, which is why the shutdown is happening. Because the Republicans don't want to fund that because it's going to highlight their socialism. Both sides want socialism. MAGA loves socialism. Hence why I said a couple weeks ago, MAGA are leftists. Let's continue. So she's dancing in the middle of a Nashville street. You gotta love it.
And I know fascism is a heavy term.
Sure it is.
But I'll say it. We have a fascist in the White House.
I ask you tonight, do you think Donald Trump is a fascist?
Yes, I do.
This is what kicking the out of fascism looks like.
Try to prevent the spread of the lawlessness and the fascist chaos that's been unleashed against us.
So when we
The script is beautiful, and the script is potent.
say Donald Trump is a fascist, fascism, a huge component of fascism, is uniting racism, bigotry, a form of racist nationalism.
We are now living in a fascist dictatorship.
We're worried about potential rise of fascism in this country. We're worried about our democracy falling to an authoritarian and potentially fascist form of government.
Not only to roll over to Donald Trump's will, but to roll over our democracy and allow him to take over this country as a fascist dictator.
We're not a democracy, sir. We're a republic. But okay.
When fascism isn't just coming, it's already here.
Where did she get this windbreaker from? I wonder if they let her keep this after they fired her.
Here.
No one has ever been more dangerous to this country than Donald Trump, and he is a fascist to his core.
The script is beautiful. Don't y'all just love the script?
And it continues. The assassination attempts on President Trump weren't enough. The public execution of Charlie Kirk wasn't enough. The 1,000% uptick in assault on our federal agents, still not enough. The leftists, the libs, and yes, mainstream elected Democrats who desperately want to be president, all singing off the same sheet of music. And they won't stop because, frankly, I don't think they care what the ramifications are.
You mean like when y'all be talking, and then your sycophants just come there behind and either write dumb responses to boost themselves in the algorithm, or they just repeat the stuff that you're saying, which is wrong? But sure, let's just focus on one side. Let's go.
Fascist this, Nazi that, Timu Hitler, Putin's hoe, we've heard it all.
I didn't hear Putin's hoe, but we like it. Putin's hoe. I'm finna call him Vlad's son.
Did these leftists even know the definitions of the slanderous and disgusting labels they throw on us? If you believe in school choice, a secure border, energy independence, or God forbid, traditional values, you're basically a Mussolini cosplayer, right?
What's traditional values, ma'am? I'm telling you, bring me one of these conservatives. That's the first question I'm asking. What is a conservative?
That's how far off the rails this has gone. Wait, you think parents parents should have a say in their kids' education, you monster.
Bruh, wait a minute. Ma'am, why are you stumbling so much? Let's go. I mean, at least I have a built-in excuse. I'm doing this live. Why are you stumbling so much? Slow down.
If you come into this country illegally, you're subject to deportation, the horror. No, it's the law. Let's be clear. Real fascism, actual textbook, boots on the ground fascism, is not just someone who disagrees with me politically. It's dictatorship, it's state-run media, it's suppression of dissent, it's political violence used to silence the opposition, which, let's be honest, sounds a lot closer to some of the tactics we've seen from the radical left for at
You gotta love the fact that she's reading the script and still screwing it up.
least the last decade. Calling everyone who leans right a fascist is not just dishonest, it's dangerous. And not just because it puts a big old target on our backs, but also this. When everything is fascism, nothing is. The left did the same with the label racist, and while they still love
Now she's trying to be controversial by cursing. Okay.
that one, they've become more enamored with fascist because it's more abstract and they can assign whatever the hell they want to it because, let's be honest, these idiot protesters and Antifa freaks don't really know what the hell fascism is and they don't care. It's an excuse.
Didn't MAGA call Biden and them fascists? Or am I missing something? Didn't they say Democrats were fascists?
Turns our politics into a clown show. It shuts down debate, it desensitizes people to the real threats out there. Maybe that's the point. Because if you can paint every conservative from a suburban mom to a small business owner as a budding Hitler, you don't have to argue ideas anymore. You just smear, silence, and move on. It's lazy, it's manipulative, and yeah, it's un-American. If Democrats really want to have a conversation, let's do it. Let's talk about policies, solutions. But this fascist nonsense, it's a political crutch, a fear tactic, a distraction, and honestly...
Torian, don't threaten me with a good time and make me get off of this. Nick Sorter, he deserved it. I'm going to say that. You deserved it. That's all I'm going to say.
It's getting old. But joining me now to have the discussion is liberal commentator and co-host of Breaking Points with Krystal and Sagar.
Who has more followers and subscribers than you?
Have the discussion. I know that you tweet a lot about it, and I'm very interested to hear if you think President Trump is a fascist, and if you think that I, by definition as a conservative, am also a fascist.
I don't think everyone who supports President Trump is a fascist. I do think that President Trump is a fascist, though, and I'll give you a perfect example, Tommy. It's kind of an awkward day for you to give this spiel, because Trump is speaking to all the generals today in Quantico, and he just said that he's going to use the...
Well, hey, Thomasina. Let me holler at you. Thomasina. Now, y'all don't like being called fascist. You don't like your president being called fascist. You think it's just a derogatory term because they have no argument to bequeath to the American people and those on the left, I guess, or right, or both. You want to explain to me, though, why y'all did this in 2023? In Time magazine, one of the most circulated news publications in the world. The script is beautiful and it's potent.
military against the enemy within, which is part and parcel of what he's been doing with deploying the National Guard in cities across the country. So when you ask about definition of fascism, the president really sort of gave his own definition of fascism today. I know you want to agree with that, but let me just make a broader point here.
Yeah, I want to dive into that.
Well, let me just make a broader point here because, you know, I think as someone who came from a side that did a lot of tone policing and, by the way, called out people who were policing rhetoric and doing the whole cancel culture thing, I would really caution you from going down this path, especially as someone who, you know, is a commentator, uses your words for a living. I know in the past I did a little bit of research. You called people who were enforcing mask protocols Nazis. President Trump had...
Ooh-wee! MAGA, I want y'all to take a nice hard look at what you're seeing on the screen. I know they're Caucasian and you find them attractive, both of them, even Krystal. You kind of like that milfy kind of look. I understand it, but this is what it looks like when you go into a debate or an interview and you have research on your side, not just ad hominem attacks or straw mans. This is what we in the black community call pulling the Uno reverse card. You can't get upset that someone's calling you a fascist when you were calling the other side something else or a fascist. The pendulum swings both ways.
Has, of course, used his language in quite aggressive ways, including calling Kamala Harris and others fascist, radical leftists, communists, et cetera, et cetera. Do I think that that was inciting violence against Kamala Harris? Do I think you were inciting violence against people who were enforcing mask mandates? No. So I think we have to really maintain this commitment to First Amendment free speech, even in the face of incredible crackdowns from this administration in ways that are truly extraordinary and quite dystopian.
I would love to hear about the First Amendment crackdowns from this administration and what you would classify those as. But I want to go back to President Trump this morning. Again, I know that
Weaponizing the FCC to throw somebody off the air because of something that you didn't fully vet or understand what they were saying. And I ain't fucking with Jimmy Kimmel. I'm just trying to tell you a story. Something like that. Sitting there whipping up people that you had around and threatening colleges because their students dared to go protest outside on a public street. I mean, things like that. Donald Trump's generation was doing that every other day. I'm just saying.
the liberals, I know that you all love it when he says something and it's like, oh my God, this is the definition. He's going to use the military against us. Well, I would argue it's well within his rights to use the National Guard in D.C. And D.C. is a pretty great place right now, by all accounts, because of his use of the National Guard.
Wrong. Somebody got beat up a couple nights ago. So D.C.'s not safe, but I'm just kidding. D.C. was already safe. Crime is proportionate to the population. But Posse Commentator says that the military cannot be used against its own people. He's basically skirting that. And he's threatening cities with sending military there. So, yeah. By the way, fascism started on the right, so why are y'all getting upset? Did y'all let the left co-opt something else and then give it back to you? Y'all may not know where I'm about to go with this. Give me a second. I'm about to go somewhere with this, and y'all gonna laugh. If you ever wanted a textbook definition of what fascism looks like, if you need it explained, I'm fixing to explain it to you. Well, I'm not gonna do it, but we might have to push the affirmative action thing till tomorrow. We might have to do that on Sunday now. We may have to talk about this tomorrow morning. Never mind. Never mind. But give me a second. We're going to save that video before, we might even download it before they take it down. Here we go. You ready? This is what she basically was just saying. That's what the left and the right did with fascism. One more time. That's what they did. Anyway, let's get back to this.
Guard there to keep people safe, mostly black and brown people, I would add. But also, when you are deploying troops to protect federal agents and federal buildings, you're also well within your right. That's not authoritarian. It's if you want to have Antifa lighting the streets on fire and terrorizing people in these cities.
Where the hell are they lighting these fires? Where are these fires? Where are they? Antifa wasn't even a thing for like how long? Now all of a sudden he gets back and Antifa pop up again. I'm finna be quiet.
President Trump is going to protect his agents and he's going to protect federal assets. So I don't know what part of...
You notice how she said, never mind. She didn't say nothing about the people. People should be first, but okay.
that you think is authoritarian. To me, it's just, if you guys want to play stupid games, we're going to make sure that we have our federal assets protected. Would you rather they just be out there and be attacked by Molotov cocktails and bottles and things being lit on fire around them, buildings being lit on fire? I mean, is that your preferred course?
Well, first of all, I would say I don't think you should believe everything that you see on Fox News, Tommy, because that is not the reality in any of these cities, and I spend quite a bit of time in Washington, D.C. Second of all, local law enforcement exists for a reason, and there's a reason why we have a separation between civilian local law enforcement and military. The military is trained to go after enemies. Do you see the American people as the enemy? Because that's the way that President Trump is framing this. He is saying
in DC,
the enemy within is the American people.
In the National Guard in DC, have they gone after you?
No, they've gone after black people. I thought this was established. They went after black people. They went after Hispanics. Did they not just arrest a white man over there for throwing a sandwich at some cops? Why were they there? Was there a foreign power in D.C. running around taking folk out? Fam, where's Brother Torian? He's probably gone. I understand. When that scumbag, the D.C. sniper, was running around, did they call the National Guard in? And he was actually killing folk. Did they call the National Guard in? No, they didn't. And he had that entire area shook. National Guard didn't get called in. They left it up to the local authorities. When the Las Vegas shooter did what he did they call in the National Guard to restore order? No. They left it up to local and federal agencies. How is it crime trends down in the city? You decide to send the National Guard in. I know why you really did it. Because you guys get to control the history book and you're going to make it seem like it was your efforts that did it. Or you're going to say, we threatened this for a while, so they started cleaning it up. We see the grift. If you're going to come in here and say the N-word, you might as well just write it out. I think you're a coward. But what is to be expected from a pirate? A pirate is a coward. You can't sink the ship. You're just going to board it. You're a coward. But you can stay here, you coward. And you can regale us with how you can't spell. Or you're scared of YouTube's algorithm. You're scared of a computer. You coward.
Have they gone after
militarized,
me specifically?
or have they gone after anybody? Can you give me an example of where the National Guard in D.C. has hurt an American civilian or has been militarized against an American citizen? Because they've been there for what now, a couple months?
Don't you block them.
Any example of where the National Guard has overstepped their boundaries or authority or done anything that would qualify as like this militarized authoritarian rule? I haven't seen it. Maybe you have.
Yeah, so I think there's a fair point that you're making there, which is that because we have the Posse Comitatus Act, you cannot actually engage in civilian law enforcement. A lot of what they've done is to back up ICE agents, so we can have a whole separate conversation about the aggressive abuses there and the way that American people feel that that has gone way too far in a way that has been aggressively violent. A lot of what they have done in D.C. is frankly like a waste of taxpayer dollars picking up trash and standing around. However, that doesn't mean that we should accept the image and normalize having military soldiers. And in LA, you know, they use active duty Marines.
I'm about to violate again. I'm about to violate. Y'all remember when that story came out? It said that crime was so down in DC that they ended up being nothing but glorified federal garbage men. Well, I wonder. I just have a question. I wonder. Them Negroes were in the Humvees bumping this hard. Shout out to Evo. Shout out to Charles S. Dutton, one of our greatest actors ever. Go get that garbage. Our federal tax dollars were at work for them to pick up trash. I know them DC garbage men were pissed. Like, what is y'all doing? And you know he can't say nothing to them because they got guns. Get some.
In our streets. Furthermore, what is probably even more troubling and has gotten a lot less attention is Trump just signed this new national security memorandum that effectively labels anyone who opposes him and his views as a potential domestic terrorist. That does come with actual federal resources that can do a lot more than just pick up trash and sort of stand around while ICE does whatever they want to do. So
crime bill is coming. The crime bill is coming.
You're right. In D.C., in Chicago, what we've seen so far, a lot of this is like fascist theater, but it is meant to intimidate. It is meant to send a message that political opposition...
Thugs and felons. Do you hear this? Thugs and felons. Thugs and felons. So the white man that threw the sandwich, is he a thug or is he... Well, he ain't go to court yet, but he a thug, I guess. He has the potential to become a felon. That's beautiful. That's wonderful.
Opposition will not be tolerated. And as we put it together, Tommy, I genuinely want to ask you this question. Like, is there nothing that he's done that you feel like, you know, it's a little too far? Like, we've had the tariffs, which have been wild and unilaterally imposed. We've got Palantir getting contracts to surveil anyone and everyone they want to. People being sent to a foreign gulag with zero due process.
I know you love that. And I wonder how you're going to feel when he starts sending journalists into foreign gulags if they print something or say something online that he don't like. Are you going to say something then? I understand a lot of y'all now, y'all get in front of podcast mics and think you know what you're talking about. Go ahead and say the wrong thing. Them black suits are coming. And you going to be on there. See, you idiots love talking about it's First Amendment. I should be able to say what I say. Okay, the government now can suspend First Amendment. Now what? What happens when they suspend freedom of the press? Now what? What if he puts an executive order or an act or a law in place that says I can arrest journalists? Because your words may be deemed terroristic. Oops.
We have National Guard being deployed in city after city after city. You have American citizens.
We didn't even get to the Bad Bunny section yet. My man came in here, didn't even spell that man's name right, and said he garbage. When that Chambea hit in that stadium, the whole world, you go back and you come tell us that it's garbage. Go ahead. When that Chambea hit and that damn Golden Gate Bridge start shaking, I bet it ain't gonna be garbage then. When that Chambea hit and they have an earthquake, I bet it won't suck then. When all them big booty Latinas, before they hit their refrigerator arcs, they start shaking it, I bet Bad Bunny ain't gonna suck then. And we already know y'all not believing what you're saying because you gonna watch it just like everybody else. Because conservatives have no morals and they don't stand on what they believe. Just like liberals. That's why I say MAGA are leftists. Now back to this.
Which cities has he deployed National Guard to, besides protecting
LA,
federal?
DC, Memphis,
Yeah.
Portland.
We invited him here. We invited him to
states.
Tennessee. We invited him to Tennessee.
And he's not going to Tennessee, you dingbat. The man said he going to Memphis. Why is he in Portland? He said he will go to Chicago. He ain't go to Chicago. He's supposed to go to New Orleans. He ain't go to New Orleans. He went to Portland. And y'all still don't want to tell me that that man do not... Oh my God. And y'all still don't see the play. We invited him to Tennessee. Wait a minute. Fam, let me holler. Please let me holler. And this is where it shows that conservatives are dumb. Conservatives, y'all are so dumb. You heard what she just said. We invited him to Tennessee. Elon Musk opened up a data center in Memphis. But Memphis is arguably always fighting every year for the most violent city in America. Why would he put his resources there? Knowing the risk that it could be destroyed since there's so much crime. Nashville kind of out of control. But we know y'all would have said something if you would have saw federal troops or the military going through y'all's pristine neighborhoods of Green Hills. Or where them football players be staying at. I don't think y'all would love it too tough. You going out on a Saturday night with your boo thing down there on Broadway and you got military posted on the corner. I think y'all would think that was kind of messed up. I'm just saying. Talking about something, I'm inviting him down here. You live in Green Hills more than likely. You way away from there. Even though they had a mass shooting there. But still. It's upper echelon. Gated communities. I'd shut up. And thank God her skin ain't peanut butter. Jason Whitlock be all over her. They live in the same city and work for the same outfit. Basically. Conservative media.
Governor invited him to come clean up the streets of Memphis because they desperately need the help. So this is, I'm genuinely...
He didn't go.
But Tommy, let me, like, can you respond to the question, though? None of this you feel like, this is a little too far. Saying policing comedians' monologues, right?
He's not
using lawsuits to threaten media, consolidating media in the hands of his allies.
I know that you're not trying to allege that Jimmy Kimmel or Colbert were taken off the air because of President Trump.
First off, she didn't even say anything about Colbert. Colbert was already out the door. She's talking about what I said earlier. Him influencing the FCC to go influence ABC to take him off the air over something that we played, and he didn't even go after him. He went after MAGA. And he got in his feelings. And predictably, that night, I told y'all, when he comes back, they're going to play that monologue on their pages and try to grift the views. What happened? 6.3 million people saw him come back on the air. Even more people saw it on social media. So exactly what did you accomplish? And then you guys are such whores. You ran out there and said, oh, we need to have a conservative version of late night talk. Like y'all would sit up there every night and watch it. As a matter of fact, you've had conservatives host talk shows in the daytime, and y'all didn't even let them ride. They were gone within 2 years.
They obviously were. I mean, Kimmel in particular, Colbert, you could make another argument about. But the FCC commissioner came out and said we could do this the easy way or the hard way. And next thing you know, Disney pulls the plug. Why? Because they know that this president weaponizes the...
Because he has a contract, you dits. If they would have fired him, they would have to pay the whole contract. Like, I don't understand how this dits don't get it. You not only had to pay that contract, you're going to have to give back all those corporations that bought advertising money. You're going to have to give it back to them. Whatever the rest of their term is. Like, I don't get this. It's better to keep him there and let the contract run out. Good. Now he can go back to his low ratings. You guys don't care anymore. You think you won the culture war. You actually lost that one. Because people are like, oh, he must have said something really messed about Charlie Kirk. He didn't even say anything about Charlie Kirk. He mentioned him one time and went off to MAGA. So they're like, this is what y'all threw him off the air for? That's why everybody turned on y'all over that. But of course, she doesn't get it. But again, this is the same woman who said men are trash and lost all her gigs.
Federal government against his adversaries. They're worried about their business deals because the backlash was so severe. Look, these people don't care about anything about their bottom line. I hope you agree with that.
By the way, remember how they said that? I know some people didn't even figure this out. You know how they were saying that Nexstar and Sinclair were trying to merge, and maybe that was one of the main reasons why they had to throw them off the air? Disney also knew, because they have that Hulu thing coming, because they acquired Hulu, and they're trying to phase it out. They didn't want that to screw up. That was the other thing. Jimmy Kimmel inadvertently is helping them finish off creating a standalone version of Hulu within the sphere of Disney for the international market. But again, when his contract run out, they could just move him over there and he could just go off. You can't stop him there unless you're planning to go regulate streaming services. But okay.
And they saw more than 1.7 million Disney customers cancel their Disney Plus subscriptions. So they were like, oh, we've got an even bigger problem here. But there is zero doubt that the intention is to chill speech, to make anyone who opposes this president think twice before they do that. That's what the university crackdowns are about. That's what the legal crackdowns are about. That's what kidnapping students off the street for writing an op-ed, that's what that's about. That's what the National Guard in the street is about. And that's what him saying to these generals today, we have to use the military against the enemy within. So you may not like the term fascist. You may not like it when it's thrown around by Democrats. You had no problem with it when it was thrown around by Trump, by the way. But that is, in fact, the accurate description of what we're seeing here. And so I have no problem with people trying to accurately describe the situation that they're experiencing in their own country.
Do you think that, I have so many questions for you, that whole thing like democracy under attack, dictator on day one, that worked so well for you guys in November of last year. I'm actually shocked that you're still using it and you think that it's...
Did you not see what happened on the first day? That man said no more government is going to censor, and then went and did that. He instituted those tariffs and then backed off. Like, we're up to what, 6 times now? He's playing with y'all. Okay.
It's working on the American people. It didn't, and it's
Tell me,
not.
not everything is about a poll, right? Some things are about, like, you actually have a principle and you actually care about protecting First Amendment.
Keep doing it. If you guys think that, though, that's fine.
This is, to me,
Krystal,
one of the best things about America. Is my ability and your ability to say what we think. You know, and I know you've been critical at times of Trump. I'm sure you'd like to preserve the ability to be so. I'm sure you'd like,
of course,
if there's a future Gavin Newsom or AOC administration.
Yeah, I don't think that...
Do you worry? Do you worry about the turnabout, though?
No,
do you
I don't.
worry that when it's an AOC or a Gavin Newsom, that you're going to be the one put it on the domestic terror watch list? Because that's what's happening right now.
Krystal, so if you did a little bit more research, you would know that your guy, AutoPen, actually did pressure social media companies to deplatform me, to move me down in the algorithm,
if you did a little bit of research, you would know
that
I complained and protested against those sorts of actions. I have been consistent in saying, we should not have a ministry of truth.
This is an actual
Government
example.
should not be involved. Hold on. Government should not be involved in pressuring social media companies to cancel. What the Biden administration did, as revealed in the Twitter files and the Hunter Biden laptop suppression, I spoke out against all of that. So you can't get me on that crap.
Well, I'm glad that you did.
That is nothing compared to the way that this administration has used the whole of government, weaponized the whole of government in order to try to silence and coerce their critics. There is no doubt about it. The FCC commissioner coming out and directly saying, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. That is overt jawboning. That is overt threats to media companies. Then you have the lawsuits that are used to basically extract a bribe to coerce these media organizations. And then you have mass consolidation in the hands of Trump political allies. That's what's going on. So the First Amendment is under attack in a way we have never seen before, going back even to the days of George W. Bush and the Patriot Act and that surveillance, which I also objected to, by the way.
Krystal, it's interesting to me that when I show you all of the censorship from the Biden administration, which I'm glad that you disagreed with, but when I show you like concrete examples of they did this, they did that.
You showed one thing. Biden tried to censor you. One thing. Huh? She gave you multiple examples. You gave a personal anecdote. Oh, man. Okay. Got it.
Hunter Biden laptop impacted an election, right? All the COVID misinformation. They pressured YouTube, Google. Every single one of them was...
Oh, no. She did not bring that one out. People were being censored under Trump. Oops. Did you forget when was C19? 2020. He was still president. Oops. People were turning on Operation Warp Speed. Oops.
Pressured, and these companies are coming out and saying we are pressured to deplatform people, to lock people out of their accounts, delete accounts, reduce people on these platforms during COVID, calling it misinformation, disinformation. We have concrete examples of this, but then you say, well, you know, because they deceptively edited that Kamala interview, and because Colbert lost his show because he lost money, and because Kimmel was off the air for 5 days, that's your example of like the government's cracking down on free speech, when I have an actual example of they actually silence people. Here it is. Citizens, content creators, influencers, politicians, doesn't matter. They did all these things. And you're like, but Colbert and Kimmel, you know, you see why it's hard for me to believe you when you're like, the First Amendment is now under attack.
It's hard for me when you spoke out against those things under the Biden administration. You have nothing to say about what's happening with the Trump administration. Look at the way they are trying to designate speech as material support for terrorism. Pam Bondi coming out and saying the exact woke thing that I'm sure you objected to in the past.
I did disagree with that when Pam Bondi came out and said,
when Trump came out and said the exact same thing and said you're not allowed to criticize me.
No, he did not say that. He never said that. He said we're cracking down on Antifa and domestic terrorists. Do you not? You know, I guess I would ask you this: do you not think that Antifa and their tactics, which I've seen firsthand, do you not think Antifa and the things that they pull, particularly in places like Seattle and Portland, do you not see that as domestic terrorism?
I think crime is crime and should be dealt with as such. But in the same way that I objected to the mass surveillance of the Bush administration and the expansion of the terror state apparatus that has occurred ever since then, I vociferously object to this attempt to use Palantir to surveil everything that all of us say for wrongthink. God forbid that we criticize Israel. God forbid that we criticize what ICE is doing. That's the...
Are you going to ask Brendan Carr to weigh in on other late-night hosts that you have said should be on the air?
Late-night host is on network television. There is a licensing. I'll give you an example. I read someplace that the networks were 97% against me. I get 97% negative, and yet I won it easily. I won all 7 swing states, popular, I won everything. And if they're 97% against, they give me only bad publicity for press. I mean, they're getting a license. I would think maybe their license should be taken away. It will be up to Brendan Carr. I think Brendan Carr is outstanding. He's a patriot. He loves our country, and he's a tough guy. So will
97% negative against me. I think their licenses should be taken. Okay. All right. Yeah. That's the look of you getting cooked on your own show. Stevie Knight, how do you feel? Just like Tomi Lahren and vice versa.
They're putting into place, Tommy. I mean, that's what they are trying to effectuate right now.
Well, I disagree with you on that point, but
I'm sure you do.
Lowest hanging fruit. Yeah, they were the lowest hanging fruit, and now it's coming for American citizens who also, by the way, are being caught up in these immigration raids as well. So this isn't just staying with, the people you might be more comfortable with. This has huge impacts on all of us, and especially as people who make our living through our ability to speak and to say, at times, provocative things. Like, that's part of the job. And that's exactly what this administration is really trying to go after.
Krystal, I'm not disagreeing with you.
Not that
yes, you
nobody
are.
won't be able to say anything, but that they have to think twice. I mean, you mentioned Google and YouTube, and then I'll shut up and let you say the next thing. But they just had to do some, multi-billion-dollar settlement and basically pay tribute to the Trump administration because they want to make sure their deals can go through and they get their tax breaks or whatever it is that they want. That's what all of these companies are doing, and we are totally dependent on these big companies.
You are saying that. All this stuff is not, that we have the companies that actually came out and said, Biden administration pressured us to remove this, this, and that. But you are just assigning that to these companies because you believe
that was reported within Disney. No, that's not true. That was reported about the deliberations with regard to Jimmy Kimmel.
So why
he
is he
didn't actually
back
have a
then?
problem with what he said.
Because all these Americans now is
Money, retard.
Yeah, now the ratings are back in the tank.
Money.
Disney Plus.
Yeah, the ratings are back in the tank. He got that great big boost, and then boom, his audience left again. And they will. And I'm all
this
for
isn't
him being
about-
on air.
Tommy,
I
this
think he
isn't
should be.
about,
I think
like,
he should
I
fail on
haven't
his own.
watched Jimmy
Krystal.
Kimmel in ages.
No
I
shit.
don't know what he has to say.
Nobody
It's
is.
fine. Obviously, these are all dinosaur programs that are going to go away eventually. It's about the principle. You know, I stood up for a lot of people during the Biden years that I have no ideological agreement with whatsoever, because it's the principle of protecting free speech, protecting the First Amendment, even the right to say things that are offensive to people, that are provocative, that are outrageous.
And I
And so
don't
if you have
disagree
a
with you.
government that is trying to weaponize all of their agencies to try
See,
to
and
chill speech
that's where you
and
lose me.
coerce the
That's where you
media.
lose. I don't think that they're doing that. Now, I believe in free speech. I don't believe that Kimmel or Colbert were taken off the air because of President Trump. I don't believe you on that. But you're talking about speech, and I agree with you on speech, all right? I believe you should be able to say provocative things. I think that there is a limit when it comes to credible threats. But outside of that, I'm more talking about, you mentioned the National Guard and the troops, and I asked you about Antifa. I'm talking about actions now. I'm not talking about words. I'm talking about actions. When Antifa goes out on the street and they light things on fire, or they're firebombing an ICE facility, things of that nature, do you not think that the National Guard might be helpful in deterring some of that violence, not just to protect the federal agents, but also the federal buildings? And I don't know, maybe make the area a little bit safer for the businesses and others that are operating in that vicinity to be able to carry about their daily business without being antagonized by freaks who consider themselves to be Antifa warriors?
First of all, let's talk a little bit about Antifa. Antifa, as you know, just stands for anti-fascist. I think we should all be anti-fascist. I would suspect that you would view yourself as also being anti-fascist. So Antifa as this like well-organized, well-oiled machine thing is a right-wing fantasy made up and invented out of whole cloth. So let's just put that out there. But look, if there's crimes, prosecute the crimes. Guess what? Local law enforcement is saying, we got this. Local leadership is saying, we got this.
They're not.
And so
And
if you
local
have
law
certain-
enforcement
if you-
has
yeah,
been
but hold on, Tommy.
hamstringed by
Hold on.
your Democrats who want
It
everybody
is
to be doing arts and crafts out on the street. And you
It
know
is
that damn
extraordinary.
well.
That's
They
ridiculous.
don't prosecute
That is so
crime,
silly.
Crystal. They don't
That's so
prosecute
silly, Tommy.
crime. That's why you have people that have been
50%
arrested
crime
46
reduction
times
in the city of Portland.
Oh, Portland is
50%
just a
crime
fever
reduction
dream.
in the
You're
city
right.
of Portland. Baltimore, Maryland has the lowest homicide rate right now, on track, lowest
Crystal, would
on
you
record.
go walk around
but crime
Baltimore
is going
at night?
down, so you can't.
Crystal,
you
would you
can't.
go walk around Baltimore at night by yourself?
I would be fine walking around
I'd
Baltimore
love to
at
see it. Would
night.
you film it next
I'm not
time?
afraid of this country. I'm not afraid
You
of the
should be.
people in this country.
All right, I
don't
would love
think
to see
we're
the
Good. Tomi Lahren, if you're afraid of the country, you should leave. Okay, Tigers, tell us what a fascist is.
war with the people in this country.
Crystal, I would
But
love
the
to see
bottom
you go
line
walk
is-
around these cities at night by yourself. Take a video and send it to
Tommy,
me.
I've lived in these cities. I've walked around, not Baltimore specifically. I walked around plenty of cities,
You
New
told
York
me it was
City
safe.
at night, etc. It's not something to be terrified of.
I'd love to
in
see
any
you do
case,
it.
local law enforcement can handle it. The situation here is that you have the Trump coming in and wanting to make a show of force. This is not about dealing with crime. In fact, drug trafficking, probably something you care about. Those convictions are way down under the Trump administration. Why? Because they're all focused on like raiding Home Depots rather than going after actual criminals. So
No,
if
they're
you
blowing
care
them
about
out of
law
the
and
water
order,
too, Crystal.
this
They're doing a lot.
administration has been a failure. No, what they're actually blowing out of the water is random innocent fishermen, which
You
is
think
another
so?
reason
Do you have
why
facts
this
for
administration is completely out of control.
Do you have facts for that? When they're blowing up
Yeah,
these
I
drug
do.
cartel boats,
Yes,
they're
I
just
do.
fishermen?
Actually, at least one of these boats. Okay, first of all,
Oh,
why-
God. Using violence and destruction of property compel political ends. Let's see if you're correct. A system of government marked by centralization of authority under a dictator, a capitalist economy subject to stringent governmental control, violent suppression of the opposition, and typically a policy of belligerent nationalism and racism. So based on your logic, that sounds like Antifa is working for the right, because it's also considered far right and authoritarian. So it sounds like you're trying to tell us that Antifa is working with the right and they're a product of the right. Because again, Antifa wasn't this loud with the other two scumbags running the country. All of a sudden now, these two scumbags get in, and all of a sudden Antifa is a thing again. Destiny said MAGA should fear going to events. That's terrorism. Okay. That's called free speech. And I hate Destiny. He's allowed to say that. That's not a threat. I think y'all need to understand what words and sentences really mean. But okay, I figured y'all didn't. Y'all are the one, not you, Tigress, but the right has been running around saying Trump is king. Trump 28. Does that not sound like a dictator? You're circumventing established law to keep this man in office. I didn't see nobody on that punk ass left talk about Biden 28 or command me all the way to 2036. I didn't see it. Maybe you can go get it for us. Again, I don't care if it means anti-fascist. Why did they pop up when Trump got back in? It sounds like Antifa is a product of the right. How come Antifa popped up when Trump got in office in 2016? Sounds like they're a product of the right. And we know how many leftists are on the right. Yes, it's a hat. Who cares? Maybe if you guys were interested in fixing the country, instead of looking for social media hits, that hat would have meant nothing. The way y'all talked and the way y'all moved, y'all made that hat a target. Why is it when people wear their favorite team's hat, they don't get beat up? How come people aren't trying to take them out? Y'all play victim when you put on that hat. MAGA victims. That might be the new lie. Tigress, that wasn't Trump that said that. Oops. See, now I know you don't listen. I said his people. Back to this.
Illegal under international law, even if it is drug traffickers. That's number one. Number two, very few of the drugs that come into this country, which mostly are trafficked in by American citizens.
Nobody's scared of a hat. Y'all are victims, though. Y'all are the ones coming outside saying, they attacked me because I wore my MAGA hat. You victim, fight back. Throw hands, or y'all can't fight like your president. That YMCA dance is not a fighting stance. I'm just saying.
By the way, come from Venezuela. Number three, reporters found the widowed wife of one of the fishermen who was blown up Okay, so I don't know
So
why
are these
you
the
just
same?
accept
Are these the same
uncritically.
kind of people?
Hold on.
No, let
Why
me
do you
speak.
just accept uncritically
let me-
what
first
this
of all-
administration says at every
Crystal,
turn? Like, don't you have a little bit of an inquisitive
I love it.
mind?
You-
Like, let
you're
me
telling
question
me
a little
that a
bit.
reporter
Let me question.
Damn, whoever works at Outkick sucks. Why is Crystal's mic louder than Tommy's? That's crazy.
that
The
a
government a
fisherman
little
was
bit
blown
in
up.
what they're saying.
Crystal, here's my question for you. Those same people, the fishermen on these boats with all the drugs and whatever that just happened to be on there, are they the same thing as the farmers in Iraq and Afghanistan who were just digging holes on the side of the road, filling them with bombs to blow up our soldiers? The same kind of
You
like
don't
the
think
farmers?
that we massacred civilians in Iraq? You think we didn't massacre?
Cool, Tigress. Now, I'm going to show you how high IQ I am. Come bring that bullshit to me. Come on. We going to have fun. Since you want to show everybody you smart, come see me. This should be fun. Don't run. I know you're a female. You got to get back in the kitchen. Don't run. Come see me. I'm a black man. This should be easy. Come see me. Because this ain't the first time you over here trying to talk like you tough and you know what you're talking about. Come see me. This is what we're going to do today. We're going to have some fun. You can even bring your husband. I'll give you both that work. Come on now, don't run. Don't you run. Don't you run. Don't tell me you got work. Don't tell me you got a pie to go bake. You gotta get ready for the Tupperware party, which is just a big cocaine and orgy session with your girlfriends in the neighborhood. I don't want to hear none of that. Don't you run. Come see me. Click that link, come see me. Ma'am, I could school you right now. Now you crashing out. Look at him. Look at Tiger's crashing out now. He can't even type now. What's the matter? Your heart skipped a beat when I said come see me? Now you can't type? Mm. Democrats don't have illegal voters. If they had millions of illegal voters, Kamami would have won. Oops. And haven't you noticed they abandoned that? Damn. I tell you, you're dumb. But we can talk about all this right now. Come on. You got fans now. You could be tougher. Let's go. What side is that? I'm not a Democrat. Oops. Here we go again. You're showing your ignorance. I didn't vote for Kamami. I've been shitting on her since 2019. Next question. Let's go. Look, she's still writing it. I'm not a Democrat, Tigress. Let's have the conversation. Prove I'm a Democrat. Prove it. Come on. You've got fans in here now. Don't tell me a tigress sounds like a little cub. Are you scared? Tigress, I'm a black man. Let me help you. I'm a black man. I'm finna go on film. I'm a black man. So you know what you can do? I'm a black man with a plastic knife next to my ear. You know what you can do? You can defeat me in this and then go and cry victim like your side does and say, I tried to do you like that black man did Irina Zaruska. You would be all over TV. Come on now. Don't be scared. It's funny. You see how the lyrics change when you tell them, come see me? You see how the lyrics change? Now she's being a coward, fam. There you go. MAGA are cowards. Y'all are tough talking when the motherfucker is 6 miles away. The motherfucker tell you, I'm on your block. You ready to call police and start sounding like a coward. Let's go. It shouldn't be this hard. Click that link. We finna pin it. I'm gonna pin it. Let me go back. Which one is it? This one? I'm finna pin it. Come on, you coward. Come on, coward. There, I pinned it. It made it easier for you. You're a coward. And everybody in the room sees that you're a coward. I even told you, go bring your husband. I'll give you both that work. Coward. I don't care if your ex-husband is mixed. You're a coward. That's why he left. You're a coward. Black men don't deal with cowardly women. We don't. You either got to be feminine or you know how to pull the trigger. Let's get it. And let's not find out if you don't know if you know how to fish, boy. If we see you pulling out that fishing reel and you start picking up that catfish, boy, we leaving it in. You heard what I said. You keft his ass. Wait a minute, fam. She keft him. I don't know what that means. We finna look that up. What does keft mean? She said it. She keft his ass. I don't even know what that means. Let me look. You keft him. Let's see. What did you do? Ah, damn. I got to pay to go see what the word keft is. An Urban Dictionary. When someone can't type. Oh, my Lord. Oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, you did not write that. Wait a minute. When someone can't type left, that's what you did to him. So you couldn't type left and he went right out the door. Okay. Woo. Woo. Teacher with a red Owen. Okay, now we got another word. She teaches us some new words today, fam. Owen. Let's see what an Owen is. Let's see what that is. That's crazy. Let me see what an Owen is. What does Owen say? It's an acronym. It's a prefix meaning wine. So a teacher with a red wine, you shouldn't be, if that's a teacher with a red wine, they shouldn't be drinking in front of no class. Now, come on now. Okay. No, Tigress, you're still talking. And we know your side loves the auto pen. That's why Trump used the auto pen to give out all those pardons. But anyway, click that link. Stop showing everybody you're a coward here. That's crazy. I can't believe this. I can't believe this. Your black ex-husband went and got a black wife or probably a white one who got more nuts than you? Come on now. How the chick got more ovaries than you? Come on now. Look at him. Look, she's still typing. MAGA, this is who you have representing you. A leftist. Coward. I can't do it no more, fam. Woo! She's a coward. Let's get back to this topic. Let's get back to this white on white crime. This is white on white. No, I'm sorry. This is right on right crime. I'm kidding. This is actually white on white crime because Krystal is on the left. Let's get back to this because I can't deal with cowards no more. I can't.
Massacre civilians at times in Iraq.
I'm sure that we did. It's called war, my friend. But this whole thing of like, they're just fishermen. They're just farmers. It's bull. And you know.
Ooh, Cussing.
Democrats
No, I
out
don't.
of
It's
your
weird
way.
to me that you just accept whatever this administration says, but they lie all the time. Like, their go-to move is just to lie about some stuff. We're told the CCOT guys were the worst of the worst. Oh, they're the worst of the worst. They're these violent criminals. They're all gang members. Lo and behold, the vast majority of them had no criminal records. Many of them were following yes. The vast majority of them had no criminal records, and some of them were following the immigration procedures. And they're sentenced to this foreign slave labor camp with zero due process. And it's crazy to me that you think that these principles will just stay with the people that you don't care about. That when due process is thrown out the window, that isn't an attack on all of our rights.
Are you
because
one of
it
those
very
Kilmar
clearly is.
Abrego Garcia Maryland father people?
What?
You think he's just
Of course, he was
Maryland father?
wrongfully deported. This administration admitted they wrongfully deported him. They admitted that, not me. They did.
No. He was wrongfully deported to El Salvador because...
Ma'am, you don't think for yourself either. Listen to you. I told you to come up here and show me your armor. Show me how smart you are. You can't even do that. Oh, I know why. Because I'm a black man and that other one walked out on you. So you still feel away. I understand. It's okay. Show us you're a coward. It's all right. It's fine. We don't care about Biden's approval ratings. We were laughing. We don't support Biden here. We don't support Democrats. We didn't support Kamala Harris. We don't support Chuck Schumer. We don't support AOC or Jasmine Crockett or anybody in the Congressional Black Caucus. This is why I know you're dumb. That's why Donald Trump loved you as part of his base, because y'all are uneducated.
The judge said he couldn't go there because he feared retribution from rival gangs. So it wasn't that he wasn't eligible for deportation, Krystal. It's that they shouldn't have sent him to El Salvador because then his rival gang members might kill him. So that was the issue. But he's not a gang member, but he's fearful of rival gangs. So that's a little weird to me. But
everybody's oh God. The family of a gang member should be scared of gang members on the other side. The friends of people that are in gangs should be fearful of the other side that are in gangs. Tommy not bright, but for now she cute, so she can keep a job. It's okay.
Again, so he was eligible for deportation.
Do you not know how gangs work? How they try to...
Wow, Tigers finally says something that is actually smart. Yes, the Congressional Black Caucus, yes, they do nothing for black people, which they're all Democrats. Why in the would we support that? I don't know how many times we got to tell you, you coward. We don't support Democrats. We don't support Republicans. We support a black first agenda. Now, unless you're going to click that link, I would stop talking. Because if I say the magic word, everybody in there going to start roasting you. And I'm going to go back to teaching. Now, you have an opportunity to save yourself. Do you want to click that link and actually have an adult conversation, or are you just going to keep talking? Then I'm going to call out the code word, and then you're not going to like what's about to happen. I'm going to leave you to that decision.
Try to exact retribution against people who won't join with them and, paid their tribute.
So that's what it was?
You don't know that's how gangs work?
Okay, she wrote something stupid. Fam, y'all know what to do. Do not block her. Y'all go have your fun. It's Friday. It's Fun Friday. Go ahead and turn on the oven. Let's roast her at 350. Yeah. I don't want y'all starting at 450 because I don't want the chicken to burn. Start at 350. We're going to go slow. Remember, she had a black ex-husband. We have to treat her like she was cooking her chicken. Start her at 350. Go ahead.
That's what it was. He's definitely, even though how many judges in Prince George County said this guy is MS-13, you're like, nope, he said he wasn't. So
I told Wallow J, I'm going to block you. I just told you, dude. I don't understand why I tell y'all to do something and you go and do the opposite. I literally told you do not block her. You went and deleted all the messages. Oh, God. Wallow J, that's not the point. I told y'all to roast her. That's it. Not delete messages. Oh my God.
That, Tommy. Zero said that. You gotta get your facts straight, girl.
They didn't have evidence that his MS-13
The bullshit case. No, this bullshit case against them that they ginned up, by the way, was falling apart. So, you know, they're trying to, or they're deporting him to a...
Wallow J, first off, this is my channel. Number one. Number two, if you're going to wield a wrench, I need y'all to follow my lead. I did not want those messages deleted. So when people look at the playback, they see everything. That was the point. Oh, man. I'm trying to teach over here. I needed those messages in there. That's why I said just roast her, not get rid of her. Tigress, just click the link then. I'm not scared of you. Click the link.
random third country.
Crystal, so
but
I
because they knew.
Yeah.
No, but Tommy, the reason they're doing that is because they knew they were not going to be able to get a conviction against them because there was no there on this nonsense that they ginned up against him.
So when he was in Tennessee with all those people in the vehicle that had no luggage and didn't really know where they were going, he wasn't trafficking people. They were just heading out to a party. Heading out to
law enforcement
party or what?
Law enforcement evaluated the situation and
No.
said,
The Biden administration said let him go.
So I'm going to take the cops.
No, Crystal.
I'm going to take the cops' word for it at the time.
Crystal.
Versus
those
your
are our
word
law
for it
enforcement
in this
officers in
invented case
Tennessee.
for the government.
Crystal. Law enforcement officers in
Let me
Tennessee.
ask you this, Tommy.
I know that this is your game to just
they
interrupt me the entire time, but you're not going to do it.
Shouldn't they
She's proven you can't control your own show.
prosecute him then? If he's this violent
Crystal,
gang leader,
the Biden administration said to let him go. He was on body cam with our Tennessee law enforcement officers that said this guy is human trafficking. The Biden administration said to let him go. It wasn't our law enforcement
Joe
in
Biden
Tennessee.
intervened here? Okay. Tommy, but if he's this violent gang leader, don't you want to see him prosecuted?
I want to see him sent out of our country.
Brought to justice?
Out of our
Don't you?
country.
Oh, you're gonna just let this violent gang leader go? Shouldn't he be prosecuted here? Shouldn't he face criminal justice for these horrific acts you're alleging that he committed? No, they want to just get him out of the country because they know they can't secure a conviction because they know there's no there. So you should be very upset with them for dropping this case and just deporting him.
No, I love it when
having
they just
serve
deport the
time or do
criminals.
anything for these horrific human trafficking things that
No,
you
Crystal,
say
I
that
love
he
it
did.
when they just deport them. So you got the wrong number on that one. I love it when they just deport people. I think that's better. I'd rather
So you
do
like
that
it when
than
people don't face justice?
No, they
You
do.
like-
It's
you like
called
to
being
let criminals
deported.
go free.
No, it's being
You
deported.
like to let criminals go free and not have to serve time in prison?
I like
That's
them when
weird.
you're deported. We tried to send him to El Salvador, but unfortunately, you guys cried about that and over margaritas. So there was that. Let's go to this. I'm sure you have a lot of thoughts on this. Pete Hegseth thinks that we should have uniform standards for men and women in combat positions. I'm going to play the clip, and then we'll hear your take on it.
This, and I want to be very clear about this, this is not about preventing women from serving. We very much value the impact of female troops. Our female officers and NCOs are the absolute best in the world. But when it comes to any job that requires physical power to perform in combat, those physical standards must be high and gender neutral. If women can make it, excellent. If not, it is what it is. If that means no women qualify for some combat jobs, so be it. That is not the intent, but it could be the result, so be it. It will also mean that weak men won't qualify because we're not.
Hey, y'all's tiger is turned into a feminist now. Look at her.
Playing games. This is combat. This is life or death. As we all know, this is you versus an enemy hell-bent on you. To be an effective, lethal fighting force, you must trust that the warrior alongside you in battle is capable, truly physically capable of doing what is necessary under fire. You know, this is the only standard you would want for your kids and for your grandkids. Apply the War Department golden rule.
Wait a minute. I don't know what fishing is. You put your reel in the water and pull up a polar bear. You better stop. And we're not talking about the polar bear with the Coca-Cola bottle. You better stop.
1990 test and the E6 test, and it's really hard to go wrong.
All right, Krystal. I'm sure you got an issue with that. So you want to tell me what it is?
I don't have an issue, Tommy. It's fine.
You don't?
Pure.
She got worked.
Fewer women sent to fight and die in pointless foreign
Oh,
wars.
man.
So you're fine with the standards. So you agree with our Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, that we need to have uniform standards, and if women can't meet them, then that's DEI doesn't apply here?
What the fuck?
Like I said, if we have fewer women sent overseas, fewer everyone sent overseas to fight and die in useless foreign wars, then I have no problem with that.
Well, I'm so happy to hear you say that. And
Carter. Carter. Ah. She been getting cooked on everything. She thought she was gonna come outside and be like, no, you should lower it for everybody. She's like, no, if you can't make it, you can't make it. That's life. What? Tomi Lahren, how many men have you taken jobs from when you're sitting in that seat? You were probably better than them. It's okay.
And I'm assuming that you're against DEI then, just universally, or do you like the DEI concept?
I actually am against. It depends on your definition of DEI. I think Republicans have perverted it to just mean like when black people get jobs. For example, the mayor of Baltimore was called a DEI mayor, even though he was democratically elected just because he happens to be a black man. But I've opposed things like affirmative action used in college admissions and things of that nature. So affirmative action used in college because he happens to be a black man. But I've opposed things like affirmative action used in college admissions and things of that nature. So things like no, he's democratically elected just because he happens to be a black man. But I've opposed things like affirmative action used in college admissions and things of that nature. So
got them. I told you they both the same side. Torian told y'all they both sides of the same buzzard. Both wings of the same buzzard. I told you. But I bet when she went to college, that affirmative action was working for her. She ain't saying nothing now, did she? Because remember, she's a triple minority. She's a woman. She's underrepresented. And she comes from a sector that is marginalized. She's considered a minority. Remember, they considered white women a minority when it came to affirmative action. Women, minority, underrepresented. Isn't that wonderful? Go ahead.
So, yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we can both agree that the Department of War should not be using DEI. So we found one area of agreement. Hallelujah. I'm glad that you brought up DEI hires, though, in terms of what we Republicans think of it. What do you think about that Iowa superintendent who's an illegal alien? What do you think about him getting that job? Are you cool with that one too? Or
That was a red state that gave him that job.
gonna surprise me, maybe.
I mean, in terms of his performance on the job, it seems like he did a good job. The community is out protesting his potential deportation because he was getting test scores back up after there was COVID learning loss. And, you know, I mean, to me, this is someone who apparently is exactly the type of person we would want in this country. Not just when he was in Des Moines, but he also had a high-level role in St. Louis school systems and Pennsylvania school district. He was considered an outstanding principal in the Washington, D.C. school system. He's been in the country for decades, and he seems exactly like the sort of person that we should reward with citizenship, who's a tremendous benefit to our country and to his community.
The weapons they found, that doesn't concern you at all?
I thought you were a 2A girl.
Ooh!
I am a 2A girl, but illegal aliens doesn't apply to them, babe. They don't get to just walk around willy-nilly.
I don't have a problem with someone having a hunting rifle, personally.
So you don't care if illegal aliens have?
No, I think he should have
firearms?
citizenship. That's my point. I don't really understand why you guys think the story is like a good one. And your side,
because Democrats tell us that they're not getting these jobs. You guys tell us they're not.
He's not the stereotype that you're trying to perpetuate about undocumented immigrants. You know, he has been an upstanding community member for decades. He's served school districts. He's been a fantastic educator. He was performing, apparently, according to locals, he was performing quite admirably in this job right here. So, no, I believe that immigrants are a net benefit to society, and I believe someone like him should have been rewarded with citizenship long ago. Now, clearly he lied in the job application process. Yeah. That's not acceptable,
So does that not bother you at all?
But this is exactly why we need... Well, to me, it's an example of how immigrants benefit our country and why we need a path to citizenship so that people can be brought out of the shadows and can contribute openly in society the way that this man was.
So I guess my larger question here isn't about maybe him himself. If you say he's a great guy, I'm just going to go ahead and give you that one. He's this great guy. You know, they found this stuff, but that's fine. Do you think it's a little odd, though? Because Democrats tell me all the time that illegal aliens, they aren't getting health care, they're not voting, they're not slipping through the cracks. And then we get examples where it's like, holy shit, this guy slipped through your very tough vetting process. And he's also, by the way, a registered Democrat. But I thought that he couldn't vote. So I'm confused because you guys told me that this never happened.
Huh?
I don't know if he's registered to vote. I think we should look into that. There's zero evidence that there's any significant issue with undocumented immigrants voting.
So you want the
committing
illegals
voter fraud? That would be voter fraud. I didn't say that. I said there's no significant evidence. There's no evidence actually at all that undocumented immigrants vote in significant numbers. Now, what I am in favor of is the pathway to citizenship for people who do pay taxes, who follow the rules, who, you know, whatever the guidelines you want to set out. So there's a predictable path so that people can be brought out of the shadows and contribute to society and contribute, you know, and have to abide by labor laws and all of that. That's what I think would benefit immigrants, that would benefit our society more broadly, and that's what I'm in favor of.
Do you think that that pathway to citizenship would be to come to the country legally in the first place? Isn't that the best and brightest
We actually
path?
did, but yes. Yeah, absolutely. But right now we don't have a system, depending on the country you're coming from. There's basically no possibility of that. So you have a lot of people who are truly desperate, who are trying to survive, who want to come here because they believe in the promise of America. And so I believe we should have a path that, you know, allows them to present themselves at a legal port of entry and follow a process and be tracked through the system and all of that. Like that, to me, in my mind, would be a functional immigration system where you don't have the sense of lawlessness and chaos and people who are working in the shadows, who, by the way, are frequently exploited and abused because they don't have legal status here.
Yeah, because they didn't come the right way. So if fewer people would come the wrong way, you could have more people able to come the right way. I want to talk a little bit about New York City. I don't know if you're a Mamdani fan or not, but you are a big fan of Mamdani?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you are? Okay. So he wants to provide $65 million for gender-affirming care. I want to play the clip, and then I want you to tell me why we should be footing the bill for that. Let's take a listen.
It is absolutely disgusting that this federal administration do. They are looking to erase trans folks from the very fabric of this country. And it's up to us to actually show what leadership we look like. And one of the things that we've said, beyond saying you're a sanctuary city for LGBTQIA plus workers, beyond saying you're going to really establish an office of LGBTQIA plus bears, is also that we're going to provide $65 million of funding for gender-affirming care, the same amount of funding that the federal government we're going to pull out from local providers for national agreement.
So, do you think that they should be footing the bill for the gender-affirming care?
I mean, Tommy, I think everyone should get health care. So yes, I think trans people should get health care as well. And what he's talking about is, number one, consistent with New York law, which requires gender affirming care to be provided. And number two, consistent with, basic moral values. Yeah, I think trans people should be able to get health care. And one thing I want to say about this, which, well, personally, I think we should all get health care, access to health care.
So you think we should pay for everybody's gender transition?
I think that we should pay for gender affirming care, which is medically required for trans people to feel okay. And I think it's disgusting the way that trans people have been turned into scapegoats by this administration, who is more interested in fighting a culture war than really exposing the fact that they are doing the bidding of billionaires, and that those are the people who we really should be upset about, not trans people, not immigrants. But these are all distraction tactics to keep us from talking about the issues that really actually unite Americans.
I'm not so sure paying for gender-affirming care or transitions for everybody is necessarily something that unites Americans. I think there was a pretty effective ad leading up to the election last year.
That's definitely twisting my words. That's the opposite of what I said. What I said is the tactics are used to divide and distract from the fact that Trump is giving away the store to his billionaire buddies. So no, he wants to do that. And I support him doing that, by the way. And I also support him not running away from the issue. And this is part of what people like about Zoran. Putting the issue specifics aside, they like that he stands on business. He's sort of like the Democrats' Trump in a way. Maybe that'll make sense to you. He doesn't run away from his views. He stands on business. He says things that get people, oh my God, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he said he'd stay here in New York City rather than run to Israel first thing when he's elected. And he's like, yeah, that's what I think. The fact that he actually fights for something and stands for affordability and being New York first, that's exactly why people have found him so incredibly appealing.
Is it affordable to pay $65 million for gender-affirming care, or $100 million for free lawyers to help illegals facing deportation? Is that in the best interest of New York City? And
y'all are paying all that money for those court-appointed lawyers. Not $100 million, but that's a good amount of tax money.
Your budget?
Well, you may not be aware, but there are a lot of immigrants and there are a lot of queer people in New York City. So yes, there is a segment of New York society that will benefit. But more to the point, Zoran's politics are a unifying politics, because he's led his campaign with, hey, let's bring down the cost of public transportation. Hey.
How are you going to bring down the cost of public transportation? How? You can't do it. They're always begging the Fed for more money every year. The system is antiquated. People are not riding it. People are leaving. You can't drive it down. You haven't figured this out yet. You guys have been doing this since the 80s. You haven't figured it out yet. It can't be done. He wants 15-minute cities. I don't know how many times we got to tell y'all that. He wants 15-minute cities. That's why they want him in there. And the fact that Krystal Ball said that she's cool with this man when he said, I want government-run grocery stores. So you want to take away someone's right to have a business, because what if that government-run grocery store is where this person's business is? Especially if it's a supermarket. or a fruit stand. Now they're gonna play eminent domain and start taking people's land. Then y'all gonna start complaining. They love their government, boy.
Let's make it so that people can afford childcare, so that childcare could actually be free. Hey, let's make sure people can actually afford rent in the city.
And how is he going to do that?
Leadership, which has mostly been, well, let me get to that in a second. Most leadership in New York City has been Democratic, and they have turned the city into a playground of the rich. And so many working middle class people have been forced out of the city. He's saying, what if we ran the city actually for all of us? So we prioritize people who are working and middle class being able to actually live here. So I'll give you, I'm sure you are familiar with, some of his policy proposals, and I'm not going to go through all 30 or
Now,
whatever.
Craig, are you out of line for that? You out of line for that. We finna pin that. You out of line.
But the top of the list, he's got free childcare, he's got free public buses, he's got an affordable housing surge.
What you just said? Oh my God. And you think free public buses is supposed to bring down the cost of riding public transportation? Oh boy. Okay, so if it's free, then why do we even have it then? How you gonna pay? Okay, so how you gonna pay the drivers and the conductors and the engineers? How you gonna pay? How you gonna pay the MTA infrastructure if you make buses free? How?
Plus a rent freeze for rent-controlled apartments. And he's got, this pilot program that got a lot of attention for the public subsidized grocery stores to help in places that are food deserts. Yeah, so these are honestly very modest proposals that help to get the housing and the affordability crisis under control in a very expensive city.
How is he going to pay for the free for everybody? I'm just curious because
let's tax the rich, baby.
So we're just going to tax all the rich. So you think that'll work? You think if you just tax all the rich people that they're just going to
Tommy, you don't think rich people should pay a little bit more?
No.
You don't think that rich people are shirking their burden? I mean, the extraordinary amount of wealth that has been consolidated in the hands of the wealthy is insane, and they pay a lower tax burden if you look at their net worth than average middle class people. It's overwhelmingly popular.
So you don't think they'll leave?
The rich, including among MAGA Republicans. I mean, this is something that Steve Bannon has talked about. Right now, the people that are leaving New York City are not the rich. It's the working class and the middle class who are priced out of that city. And so that's what he's laser focused on.
But you don't think that if you just pay for all of these free programs by taxing the rich, you think that the rich people are just going to stay there and keep their money there and they're just going to fund all this? You think so?
Yeah, I do. They've done research, Tommy, and they have found that there, is very little evidence that the rich will just pick up and leave New York because they have to pay a little bit more in taxes. New York has a lot that's going for it. There's a lot of reasons why wealthy business owners, Wall Street, etc., want to congregate in this great American city. And no, I don't see that changing or going away. But I do think the city should be run more for its middle class and working class residents than for the rich. And apparently New Yorkers agree.
How much more are you going to have to tax these rich people to pay for all of the free programs for New Yorkers and for the illegal aliens and for the trans and all that? How much do you think, how much more do you think you can squeeze out of the wealthy there?
Well, I'm not Zoran's budget director, so you have to ask him that question.
I don't know if he has one.
Compared to their level of wealth, and he's been very detail oriented, which is something, frankly, I was concerned about because I want to make sure that not only is he able to win, but he's able to govern effectively. And so if you listen to his interviews, if you review his policy proposals, you'll see this is not some dyed-in-the-wool ideologue. He's been very open to, input, including from the business community, including from more moderate Democrats. And yeah, he's put pen to
We already went over that. His plan is not going to work. And we know why they really want him in New York, especially the Jewish community. They want those city contracts. That's what it is. That's the play. For those who never saw that live we did on that Saturday morning, we found out and we deduced that the only reason why the Jewish community is really behind Mondani is because they want those city contracts. so they can show that they're effective with it and then flip it to go get the Fed contracts, which are worth way more money. His whole candidacy is a grift. Because no matter what he does, positive or negative, he's going to get slammed. People are still going to leave the city. They're going to blame it on him. Eric Adams made the smartest move dropping out because now he could spend the next year cleaning his image up and going to run for Congress, which I feel like he's going to go do. He'll probably win because New Yorkers are not smart when it comes to deciding candidates.
Paper and has the numbers to back it up. Now he may.
Yes, Golden Piggy, we already did the research and we already showed it. Yes, they do. The Jewish community likes him and they want him in there for financial purposes. Yes.
Just say tax
The
everybody.
challenge he's going to
That's
have.
not really, that's not really pen to paper. That's just somebody else will pay.
Well, I
for
didn't
all
really
the
say
things.
tax everybody.
Did you call her Phoenix and Double Ender? Phoenix and Double Ender, yeah. What? You out of T-code it.
I said tax the rich. Oh, just and I'm using the rich should be taxed, not just in New York, but across.
Golden Piggy, it doesn't matter if they go to another state. If their business is rooted in New York, they have to pay the tax on it. You could go live in another state. If you work in New York, you got to pay New York tax. Y'all are not getting it. Them Wall Street types, they live in Jersey. They live in upstate New York. Some even live in Connecticut. You still got to pay the tax because you work in the city. What's really harming New York City is the fact that a lot of these people do not live and own real estate where they could tax the properties. That's the problem. All these other counties are getting the tax revenue, not New York County. That's the issue.
The country, and America agrees with me.
We should all
because
just
they've
get
rigged the
poor
system
together.
to their benefit.
Oh, God.
They
Socialism
rigged the
sounds great.
system to their benefit.
Golden Pig, I see what you're doing. We're not going through this again. I just explained it to you. We did a whole entire live stream on a Saturday morning. It's still listed where we went over Zohan Mandani and his candidacy in New York City. And we outlined it. We showed his ads, we showed the articles, and we showed where the Jewish community was giving him significant support. And we went down the rabbit hole and found out that they've been bucking for years trying to get city contracts. You can go watch it after this is over. Thank you.
Benefit. I mean, they just got a gigantic tax cut from this administration. So if we just gave that back, that would be.
It's a tax cut, ma'am.
Overwhelmingly the rich, though.
Our GDP
it was overwhelming the rich.
Ma'am, you wouldn't even see that money until next year. It's like I don't understand how she doesn't get this. Yes, he gave him a tax cut. They have to do the taxes next year. So we don't even know what the revenue is going to be next year. We don't know. Fine, you give it back to him. There's priorities. That money gone. If he gets in and he keeps that money, the first thing you gotta do is put the infrastructure in place. That's where most of the money is gonna go anyway. To even implement the program, you're gonna have to keep running money. By then, people are going to be gone. You saw how many businesses closed in the last decade. It's not only because of policies, because the rent is way too much. How the hell you gonna own a little restaurant and pay $100,000 a month in rent? How? How are you supposed to sustain that? Especially in a competitive city like New York. It's not like everybody's just driving to your place.
gave that back, we would be headed in a better direction, because I do think the rich deserve, I do think the rich should have to participate.
Well, Craig Ari, he still has to deal with the city council. We don't know what's going to look like in 26. It might actually be more Republican. Who knows? They might not like what he proposes and they say no. Then it all becomes promises again.
Paid in society that they should, yes, pay back into the society that helped them become so incredibly wealthy, and that we have to deal with these wildly unequal Gilded Age plus levels of wealth inequality that we're dealing with right now.
Yeah, socialism has usually worked so well.
Golden Piggy, nobody in New York is going to be stupid enough to move a business that they've created to another state. It doesn't. What do you think most New Yorkers, when they have a business, what do you think they're in? That they could just move it to another state? It's like y'all just be talking. Why? Because you saw Elon Musk move from California to Texas. You think anybody can do that? Most businesses are not solvent. They don't operate in the black. They can't just pick up and leave. It doesn't work like that. I know for a fact, I know people that had restaurants in New York. They closed. They didn't take their workers with them. They didn't take the infrastructure. They closed, said, you know what, it sucks. Go out there. I'm closing in 2 months. Go find you a new job. And went to another state and rebuilt. It's not just, oh, pack it up and just go somewhere else. Most businesses in New York are small business. He brought up Elon. Elon has millions of dollars. It's nothing for him to build another factory somewhere and then just say, okay, you want to move with me? Cool. If you don't, you're shit out of luck. How you going to tell your employees that have families there, they have roots there, I'm leaving, going to another state. You want to come? Cool. If you can't, sucks to be you. Most of them are going to say, I can't do it. If not all of them. So now you just added people to the unemployment rate in the city, which stretches more resources.
As well as
No, Craig R. You mean, Nene, you mean DI hires. Remember, they benefit white women the most.
You're right. We should definitely.
Tommy, there's a reason that Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America, because most people don't think of.
Oh, Lord. Bernie Sanders? Nobody likes Bernie Sanders. How is he the most popular politician? Lord, they just be saying anything, boy.
This as socialism, they see it as basic fairness. Yeah, they see it as a basic part of the social contract. Do you think most Americans are dumb?
Most Americans are not for socialism, babe.
Did she say that?
Contract. Do you think this basic fairness?
Yeah,
they see it as a basic part of the social contract. Do you think most Americans are dumb? Yeah. Politician in America, because most people don't think of this as socialism. They see it as basic fairness. Yeah, they see it as a basic part of.
I think she said most Americans are dumb. Oh no. Are we gonna have to revisit this again? When you said all men are trash? Now you're gonna say Americans are dumb? Oh, okay.
The social contract. Do you think most Americans are dumb?
Most Americans are not for socialism, babe. But if you want to run on that, go for it.
I just said, Bernie Sanders is the most popular politician in America.
No, he's not. Oh my God. No, he's not. When Bernie Sanders bent the knee to Hillary, he lost so much steam, and then he became a millionaire after he talked about he for poor people. Who checking for Bernie Sanders? Hell, Trump is more popular than him. What is he? They just be saying anything.
So you have to grapple with that. I mean, we've had.
You're correct though, but I think we got to keep it on DEI for this. Because I don't know, affirmative action, that would require that you went to college and was smart. Somewhat. This is DEI. I mean, they got net worths in the millions and they didn't earn it. I'm just going to say it. Especially Tomi Lahren. She got millions just off her looks. Krystal Ball, most people didn't even hear about her until a few years ago. And she just proved it because she said what she just said about Bernie Sanders. Only a DEI hire would say something like that.
Many periods in our country where tax rates for the rich were much higher, and where the disparity between the wealthiest and, you know, the bottom 10% or the bottom 20% was much smaller. And guess what? We're still a capitalist country. We're still doing just fine. We had a much healthier society.
Talk your shit, Nene.
Middle class who were able to afford a home, able to afford health care. And so I don't think it's a radical idea to get back to that.
Well, I think it's a radical idea. I hope that works out for you. Do you think that that as a national platform is going to help Democrats win
Taxing
elections?
the rich?
Yeah. Do you think just
taxing the rich? 100%.
Oh,
I think taxing the rich.
I didn't try that last
time. Taxing the rich. What are you talking about with Kamala?
Yeah,
with Kamala was running around Mark Cuban and Liz Cheney and made a lot.
You mean the same Kamala Harris was talking about giving $25,000 in tax credits to people to get a home, which was going to be controlled by BlackRock anyway? She was pounding around with BlackRock. How are you trying to sell that? Oh, man. I mean, she still whooped her in this debate, but now she's losing it. Maybe she good for about 30 minutes. You can't say you around you for the people and push tax breaks that Congress got to agree with. And even if you won, you didn't even know how Congress was going to be constituted. So you might not even have been able to even do that. What if she won and Congress was still the same? The Republicans would have said, no, I'm not giving tax breaks to people for homes. No, we got to worry about fixing this economy. And she would have looked like the idiot because she promised it. See how that works, MAGA? You don't promise things you know you can't deliver on.
A lot of mistakes that are in her campaign. So, no, I do not see her as my ideological ally whatsoever. But Bernie would have won. I mean, saying, look.
How would Bernie have won? Nobody. She's just talking now. Nobody was going to vote for Bernie Sanders. Nobody. We're not living in 2016 no more. He might have had a shot to beat Trump then. If he ran in 2024, he would have got destroyed. Come on now. He better off staying in the Senate until they kick him out. Or he retires. Matter of fact, I even think he said he was going to retire. So let him go back to Vermont with his millions and the wife. Cool. Bernie Sanders would have won. Get out of here.
Look, we're going to have, of course, building out the social safety net, getting back to being the New Deal era Democratic Party.
The New Deal.
Everyone's going to have access to health care. Everyone's going to be able to afford to...
Madam, go ahead and say New Deal in front of folk and see if you're going to get votes. Come on now.
Have childcare for their children. We're going to lift the wage to be a living wage. We're going to invest in unions, make sure we have labor power. That is an overwhelmingly popular message. In fact, where does it work?
Yeah, where does that
it worked in America. Tell me, it works in America during the New Deal era. That's where it works.
Is it working?
You don't have to look overseas. We can look to our own history.
The best example, right? California probably the best example. We're going to pay the fast food workers this, and we're going to have illegal aliens on health care and Medi-Cal and all this stuff. Would you cite that as an example of where this type of governance works, or this type of economics works?
I mean, again,
a good significant swath of California's economy comes from Hollywood. I thought this was established. Maybe I got it wrong. California relies on small businesses. They're being crippled. They rely on their ability to export to the rest of the country. The supply chain is broken. Sacramento is not working. No one has a solution to fix California. I don't know. I don't get it.
Gavin Newsom is not my ideological ally. I'm not a liberal. I'm a leftist. I'm a Democratic.
Nene, you know what they accomplished? They got money and notoriety. AOC got to dance around on stage. Come on now. She got to get her exercise in. Let's go.
Socialist. He vetoed universal or blocked universal health care from coming to fruition.
Because they couldn't even afford to
California
provide
has one of
How
the
are you
most-
going to pay for it?
California has one of the most vibrant economies in the entire world. Now they also have a mass affordability crisis, as does New York City, as does every city, major city basically in the country. So I think we need to dramatically address the affordable housing crisis, and that's part of what Zoran has been running on. So I took a look.
But you can't. How are you going to afford it? How are you going to address that in New York City? How? You did the lottery thing. Okay, you're not going to keep building lottery homes and apartment buildings. You can't do that all over the city. And even then, it's still not affordable. It's like, I don't understand this. They all have income requirements. Most people are not making them, so they're not even in. So you're just going to wait for people to just leave and put their homes on sale and then just buy it up and just build more affordable housing? So New York City is just going to be nothing but apartment buildings. You just had a NYCHA building's chimney fall off in the Bronx. The infrastructure is dilapidated because both Democrats and Republicans spent decades ignoring the problem because everybody was flocking to New York City. You were more worried about the film industry than New York City. You were more worried about the restaurant trade that was booming than New York City. You neglected the people for corporations. Corporations are bigger than the government. Beautiful lie we did. Your problem came back now to bite you in the ass. And you have no solution for it except to go run to either Albany or DC to ask for more money. And Zoran's problem and his solution is going to be just ask for more money. Let's go over there and do things that people think looks like a solution, and it's not. And y'all are going to fall for it, vote for him in, and things are going to get worse. And he has one key in his pocket that he can always pull out and say, you can't do nothing to me. You can't recall me.
There's only 26% of the country that actually opposes his core policy proposals that he ran on.
By the way, they just said they can dump thousands of gallons of water that is radioactive into the Hudson River. That's half his problem. And that's half of New York's problem.
So do I think it's a national message? Of course. I think Democrats would have done much, much better if they focused on these core economic issues.
I hope that you guys stick with that, and I hope that Mamdani is your poster child, and I hope that you run on it. I'm not going to give you any feedback because I too hope that that is the direction that you go. I think that's a great idea.
You don't think taxing the rich is popular?
I think you should.
You don't think tax the rich is popular?
I think you guys
should talk to Steve Bannon about this. He has a different idea.
Well, I'm not a
He has
I'm
a
not
different
a Steve
idea
Bannon
about it.
apologist either, but I think you guys should run on that. I'm not going to interject. And I think that all illegal aliens should stay. You should make them all citizens. I think that you should tax the rich. I think you should provide.
Y'all Republicans let them stay all them years. It was never a problem. Now, when the cost of doing business went up, then you said it was a problem. Ooh. That's the dirty little secret the Republicans never told you. They didn't care about the illegal immigration problem until the cost of doing business started going up.
Trans surgeries for everybody. I think you should have all the men and the women's
I think we should have
sports.
healthcare.
Y'all never cared about it until you figured out there was money to be made on it. You never cared about it.
Across the board for everybody.
I think you
Not
guys should
for
just
trans
stay
people,
on this.
for all people.
Yeah, I think you guys should just stay on that message. I think it's going to work out really nice for us. So I'm not in any way going to ask you to change course. I think that's a great idea for you guys. The last thing I want to talk to you about is because I'm about ready to do my commentary on it. But do you think Bad Bunny's a good choice for the Super Bowl?
I'm not that knowledgeable about him, but it seems fine, and I don't know why it's a big deal. Seems like a great American artist, so sure.
He's not an American artist, but
he's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Oh, Lord. I can't believe she said that. I'm going to play it again. I can't believe she said that.
But it seems fine, and I don't know why it's a big deal. Seems like a great American artist, so sure.
He's not an American artist, but
he's Puerto Rican. That's part of America, dear.
Lady, come on. Right-wingers, do y'all not know we have territories all over the world? And through those territories, those people are actually citizens of the United States that pay taxes. I can't believe she said that. How does she not know? Ma'am, okay, if Puerto Rico wasn't part of the U.S., why did Trump go down there and shoot paper towels like basketballs? Why was he there? I don't understand this. Did y'all just not go to social studies class or U.S. history? Right, Craig? It's not like he from St. Thomas. It's not like he's from America, Samoa. Or one of the minor outlying islands. Lord have mercy.
yeah, you don't think you have any problem with him saying that ICE is, well, I'm sure you don't, mother effers and sons of and that he's not going to perform here due to
free speech,
immigration.
America agrees with him on that. Majority of Americans think ICE has gone too far. They've watched videos of 79-year-old business owners be slammed to the ground and their ribs broken by ICE. So I think the American people are probably on board with that message at this point, Tommy.
Okay. Well, whoever you're talking to, I'm sure is. I'm not so sure the rest of the country is, but
I'm just looking at the polls.
How much you want to bet when we go look Super Bowl day and the day after, she's going to have a post about Bad Bunny with the video of him performing?
That's all.
Yeah, but you told me earlier that the polls didn't matter, Krystal.
That are behind my statements, not just the vibes.
Matter. Remember that when you told me
that
earlier?
Yeah, because principles matter. Principles matter. And but when you're talking about where the American people are, that's when I consult the.
Yes, principles matter and polls matter. Yes. But you're not supposed to take one as an absolute and ignore the rest. That's why I laugh at MAGA and the left when their people are in power and they say, oh, look how high their poll is. But okay, but look how low this poll is. Oh, that's the other side. So polls don't matter. No, they do matter. When it works for you, it matters. You need to take everything into account because, yes, there's some people that like what you're doing. There's some people that don't like what you're doing. You need to take that all into account. and figure out the middle ground. Look, say what you want about Bad Bunny. Like I made the joke earlier, when that Chambea hit, people gonna lose their mind. But that's who they picked. NFL signed off on it. Hey, I ain't gonna watch the game, so I don't care. I watched the halftime last year because I wanted to see what Kendrick was gonna do. I watched it and I kept it moving. I went back to go doing what I was doing. It is what it is. But Tomi Lahren, you lost badly. It was 70-30 because Krystal was losing it at the end. But that's crazy. Conservative women are not doing well. They are not doing well. But anyway, I'm hungry. I'm going to go get something to eat before I go to work. Hopefully you learned something. If you did, I done my job. If not, I try to be better next time. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. If you got paid, make sure your bills are straight. Make sure you get your supplies. Tomorrow we're going to do that Brandon Tatum that Brandon Tatum versus Myron Gaines debate. We're going to see what that looked like. I might be a two-parter because I don't know if I want y'all to be sitting around for 3 hours. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah. Whew. That was a slog to get through. But anyway, y'all take care, stay safe, and you know what to do when the agents of chaos